Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And we're not doing any more full moon movies. We are all done with those for this year.
Oh no! How are we going to survive without bad movies that don't even make any sense and, they just use their budget as an excuse for why they're so terrible? Oh no!
Okay, well anyway, today we are reviewing The Penguin. And this is episode 2. It's called Inside Man. And Marco did the first one by himself because I hadn't watched it yet. Now I have watched both episodes, and the first and this one. And I'm not sure how he reviewed it, but I
reviewed the episode. So Safi, first off,
okay.
What did you think of episode 1? What was your grade?
Oh wow. I think I gave it a... God, it was really... I think I gave it like an A-. And I did that because what's really the most amazing thing about the series, I mean, even in these first 2 episodes, is the actor playing the Penguin. I keep, even the second episode, I keep staring at him, and I just can't get over the voice, the accent, the look, the complete change that this actor has made to be this character.
What I can't get over is how he's wearing a full body suit.
He
too.
Is. Okay.
And
I wondered about that.
You're wearing a full body suit, makeup, and a costume. Ooh.
But he does, because the Penguin, remember, he has extra toes, or they're just all smashed together, so he has a limp. And so, I mean, I can see probably the limp is probably a way to express his discomfort of wearing all this crap. I mean, he has to limp anyway. That's part of his persona and character. But still, I mean, God, I just can't even imagine. But he is doing like, he should get the Emmy right now, because I guess the problem I have with the series is one thing that's very different from all of the movies or cartoons, for that matter, that feature the Penguin is that this isn't a typical comic book character movie. At least it isn't so far. Show, I'm sorry. And
miniseries.
It's usually...
whatever.
The character's a lot more comic. They're not very realistic. There's an unrealistic part about them that you can see they're comic book characters. I mean, think about all the way back, if any of you've seen it, the first Batman series, the one with Adam West. And they put little pop-ups whenever Batman got in a fight with ooh, ow, zowie, and all this, and they had this music. Music was great.
Safi, it's not the 1960s anymore.
No, I know that.
The segregation is gone.
Oh, Marco, hush up. But anyway, all over the years, it's never, I mean, this to me is more like a mafia show.
It is, but at the same time, it's its own thing. I mean, it's an interesting way of doing things. To me, it's the same way that, like, the first Joker movie really styled itself after King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. It's like, obviously, if you made like a Penguin movie that was like King of Comedy, it wouldn't make any sense. But since it was a Joker movie, it made complete sense, and it completely worked for the character. And it's funny because I actually said that's what they should do before they even did it. And the Penguin, I would say that this was a great idea for a show because it's actually better than that crappy Batman movie.
Oh yeah, it's 1,000 times better.
I think I said it in the first episode review that, like, even though that movie was terrible trash, it's good that movie was made so that we could get this show. Because I don't really watch mafia movies a lot. I mean, I think that the mafia is kind of childish and gay, and I think that like, watching movies about these grown men who do what they do and they think that they're so cool is just really pathetic. So, but when they're good, they can actually be really good, and this show is really good. So it's nice to watch a good mafia show, and it's not something where I'm laughing because the adults are so pathetic and stupid and just ew.
No, there's none of that at all. None.
I mean, don't you get the same feeling, Safi, when you watch these, like when you learn about these stupid mafia people and how they think they're so cool because they have these fancy suits and they wear a special ring and everything?
Well, they have the ring in there.
It's fucking gay. But
well, it's who they are, and it's well, that sounds stupid, but anyway, it's kind of symbolic. I mean, just knowing over the years, if you've known anything about them, I mean, it's they just have a certain code of conduct, and the way they act, and the thing with the ring and the clothes and the cars and power, and the fights, the gangland fights, and this is really a lot like the thing. It's kind of like in the middle. You have this comic book universe, and that's been very comic booky. In other words,
not really. The Twilight Boy movie was not comic booky.
I don't know what that was. That was
because here's the thing about Batman. First, you had the '60s show. It was a complete cartoon.
Yeah, it was.
I would know. And then you had the Tim Burton Batman, which was pretty comical, but a little bit realistic. But mostly comical. It was totally a Tim Burton thing. And then that series completely went downhill, and it went way over the top comic booky like the '60s show, except it sucked. And then they were like, well, let's make Batman realistic. And you had the Dark Knight trilogy. And then after that, they're like, oh, well, after that, we can never make Batman a comic book movie again. It can only be serious. It can only be realistic. So these past two interpretations we've had is just like everything's got to be super realistic to the point of where I don't know if Safi noticed this, but his name is Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin character.
Right. They have said that.
Not in this show. In this show, they changed his name to Oswald Cobb. Because
I did not notice that.
I could have
sworn they said Cobblepot
no.
at the very beginning, like once, maybe.
No, because they think that Cobb is more realistic.
And it could be realistic. I don't know why they...
Which is stupid, because...
It's like a British name.
Yeah, because, you think about Charles Dickens and all of the names that he had in his books, those were real.
Yes.
That's what they showed in that movie. He met all these people, they had these weird names, and he used them in the books, so that's pretty stupid. But this episode 2, I thought it was slightly not as good as episode 1, but I mean, not every episode is going to be as good as episode 1. Like in a good TV show, you're going to have episodes that kind of, they go down and up and down and up, because a lot of stuff in this episode is setting things up for what's going to happen this season. And, you're not just going to get what you got in episode 1 every episode. Right, Safi? Would you agree that this was kind of like more of a setup episode,
yes,
even though some stuff happened? I mean, yeah.
It was kind of like just like you said, it's like you have this intro, and then you have to kind of
slow down,
kind of build up.
And take your time.
And whatever they're... See, that's my question is, where are they going to go with this?
Somewhere cool.
And, I guess, at the very beginning in the first episode, he caught all these boys trying to, they have a name for it, and I can't think of it, but tear apart his car, take the parts, and sell them.
Safi?
And anyway,
are you trying to
he gets one of them, and this guy's been with him the whole time, and I'm like, why can't he just go? I mean, isn't this supposed to be New York City?
No.
Or it's supposed to be like
New
Gotham?
Jersey.
Oh, okay.
But this is Gotham.
It's not a small town.
This is Gotham City.
He can go.
No, he can't.
I don't believe it.
He doesn't want to go. He wants to be with the Penguin.
Well, in this episode, somebody's texting him. I don't know if it's another boy or if it's his family. They want to know where he is.
Yeah.
I didn't see I didn't see the origin of the text.
Well, we don't know much about his backstory yet, and so, that'll be something that we'll learn about this season. I mean, the way that a good TV show works is, you drop these little hints about characters. Like, you drop little hints here and there, and eventually the whole thing. Like, he wants to be with, I mean, what who wouldn't want to work with the Penguin in the show? I mean, he's pretty cool, and he's likable. He's very he I don't know how to describe it. Like, you really root for his character to succeed. You don't want his character to fail for some reason. You really want him to win in the end. Know. And so let's talk about. We're not going to really go through the episode because that's kind of gay too. I don't like doing recap reviews like Safi likes to do.
No, that's fine.
Or she likes to read a whole bedtime story.
I do write. I had to write down everything though because I'm trying to figure out all the characters' names and how they fit into the organization and
the weird Italian names.
And it's really hard. Keeping track of everybody, all the relatives. She has uncle. There's Sophia. She's like the other main character, and she's nuts. She's been on Arcane. I'm sorry to say that. I mean...
Arcane?
The asylum.
Arkham?
Arkham.
Arkham Asylum. And one of the things that I liked about this episode was that it showed kind of like a little bit of the aftermath of having been in that asylum.
Yeah.
Which we haven't really seen in any movies, any Batman movies at least. We've seen it a little bit in the video games, but the idea of getting to see the mental toll that being in Arkham Asylum would have on someone is just pretty bad, and it really influences how people act. And again, I know that this is kind of a point that people bring up that's kind of irritating. But it is a point to be made that, Batman beats these people up, and then he makes them all go to Arkham Asylum, and then they all rape each other and kill each other and fuck each other up, and then they get out, and they just go back in again. That's what Batman does.
It's almost like normal
and
everyday life.
He's basically like a glorified policeman. And, Sophia, it shows that, in the first episode, they kind of made it seem like she was always, really evil, and she's, a really, sociopathic, killer, but in episode 2, it's no, she's actually not, what you thought. And she's a lot more vulnerable than you would have suspected. And that's what's kind of interesting, is flipping these preconceived notions you had about these characters and what would happen to them too, because it's really interesting what's going to end up happening with Oswald Cobblepot. How he's going to manipulate her, and he's going to pretend like he's her best friend or whatever, and then probably screw her over. The fact that now that she's, I mean, you're kind of rooting for her now in a way, or I don't know, you're rooting for them both, but just, I don't know, someone's gonna die, and it probably won't be Penguin, so that's even more sad, is that it'll probably be Sophia. It could even be that kid, too. I mean, what do you think, Safi? What do you think about Sophia? Would you like to seduce her?
Oh, for God's sakes! Marco's making up stories.
That's what Oswald Cobb is doing. Oswald Cobb Bullpot. That's what he's gonna do.
No.
Yeah, he is.
I don't believe it. Not for 1 minute.
Yeah, he is.
I don't believe it. Well, anyway.
Why wouldn't he? He's already done it with that one hooker girl. The woman who, Safi, do you recognize her?
Yeah, she looks familiar, but I can't.
She was in Your Honor. She was the bitch lawyer.
The lawyer.
Yeah.
You're right. She has blonde hair in this movie, and the other one she had darker hair. Okay.
She's probably the weakest character so far.
Yeah, I thought she looked familiar.
She's supposed to... So they have this character, before Safi answers the question of would she seduce Sophia.
Oh, for God's sakes. Such a stupid-ass question.
Why?
It's just stupid.
But before we get to that very important question, he has this girlfriend, I guess you call her, like an acquaintance, whom he used in episode 1 to get the alibi that he needed. And she's like a, what do you call it? A madam of a brothel or whatever. Like she's got girls who are gross and, let people use them all the time. And what happens with them? I mean,
they're just hanging out together.
Okay.
And
yeah, they have like a little party, but like I can't remember. Do they have some kind of like?
They're not doing anything else. She's helping him. I guess she's there for his alibi.
Because that was the less interesting part of the episode, right, Safi? Like that part was like I was kind of like, oh, okay.
They were just there to kind of like further the story along. You know? There were a couple of murders in the story, and
murders.
I mean, I just don't know what to say. It's almost like the guy who plays the Penguin. He's so outstanding.
Yeah,
he's kind of like a lighthouse beacon. He's just blink, 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 and everybody else is kind of like. I mean, they are really. Side characters, and he's the man.
Well, I would kind of disagree in the sense that Sophia is also kind of a main character.
Well, yeah.
And we did get to see in the opening part, what I'll do is I think I'll talk, and then I'll give you, things, I'll give you questions and things, because, like...
I'll try.
You're not really used to doing, like, good TV reviews. Usually you read, like, a bedtime story for 30 minutes, and then you're like, okay... Let's discuss what we thought. Remember that, Safi? That was a terrible review format. We never should have done that. Remember?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You would like read every single detail of what would happen in a movie.
That's because I didn't like talking at the top of my head. But I mean, if I just watch something, and
it's a lot easier to talk about it then.
Right.
And that's why I like to do reviews right after I watch them, because it's like. It makes it a lot more fresh and good. But anyways, they showed in the opening part, Sophia has this therapist, and it seems like he's going to be a prominent character in the same way that I saw in, like, I've never seen The Sopranos, but in that, isn't the therapist like a really...
Yes.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see what happens with him, because... Safi wouldn't recognize him.
Nope.
He was in Luke Cage.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He played this gangster character, Shades, and that's how he kind of got famous. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
Well, I didn't know who he was supposed to be at first.
So far, he seems kind of creepy and weird.
Oh, he's holding on to her like they were... lovers.
That kind of reminded me of the Office moment where, Jim holds up Pam and Safi was like, I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Okay, whatever.
Well, it seems like that's the characters that he plays. He likes to play characters that are creepy and weird, which is like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's fun to just be weird on camera.
Exactly the opposite of what you are.
Yeah,
they love that. Actors love that.
And that's the thing, too. And this is something that's kind of controversial, I guess, is that usually the actors who always play good characters, like John Wayne, they're terrible people in real life.
Yeah.
But then people who play villains or who play villains sometimes, they're usually the good people in real life. So that's a good way to tell, like, or it kind of isn't because Chris Sarandon was a douchebag. But anyway, anyways, he's probably the least favorite celebrity that I've met.
But what about Jimmy Stewart?
Jimmy Stewart?
He played a good character for a lot of his movies, and
he's
evil.
different. He's different. He was a really, like, naive and kind of awkward up and comer, and the actress that he was with in the shop around the corner, she trained him into becoming an actor and really, like, honing in his craft. And without her, he never would have been probably very famous. So, but he's different. But anyways, Safi's trying to debunk my amazing
I just
position.
don't know how you could, but I could see that. That's
It's true.
Interesting. I never even thought about that. Usually you're saying the good actors, the ones that are kind of a good person, lead a pretty good life, they love to play evil characters because it's something totally antithetical to what they usually act like.
You think about Christopher Lee. How long did Christopher Lee live? And he played Dracula. And he played characters like that. He hardly ever played good characters, even though he was the inspiration for James Bond. But like in this show, you know, Colin Farrell and then that woman who plays Sophia, Safi probably doesn't have her name because she's really inconsiderate when it comes to Sophia. But you know, they're probably really nice people in real life because they play these bad characters. But anyways, that was a tangent. But it is something good to bring up. I've never brought it up on the channel before, but it has become very noticeable because the people who play good characters, it's like they're playing good characters because they want to be like who they think they are in real life. But in real life, they're terrible people. So it's kind of like a narcissistic type of thing. But let's see. What should we talk about? I mean, Victor screws up a taco order. That was pretty funny. You know, that's another thing about the show that people have brought up is that it has a lot of little touches in it that are really fun and interesting, and you don't really... I mean, one of them I didn't even notice when I watched the episode, and then I saw a clip on Twitter, and I thought, oh, that's a good moment. Like, I wish I paid attention to that part.
What's that?
It was some part where he's walking across the street, and he has to stop a car or something because he has to walk, you know, and it's trying to run him over.
I think that happened the first episode.
Oh, it did?
I think so.
Well, see, that's even better. Like, see, it's another thing I didn't notice in the first episode. But anyways, what ends up happening is that there's a deal that's gone wrong, and isn't it Maroney
There's two groups.
the prison group, the prison family.
The prison family?
I think it's the Maronis. They ended up getting this shipment of drugs with Oswald's help.
The Falcones and the Maronis, yeah.
And so then Sophia and then this guy who's above her. I can't remember the guy who's above her.
No, I don't know. Well, I think it's her uncle or something.
He has taken over the family now, even though it really should be her who is taking over the family. It's very realistic. It reminds me of the Buddy Valastro family, how they're, you know, kind of grooming Buddy Jr. to be the new Buddy when it really should be Sophia.
And he is trying to, well, he's telling her she needs to go to Italy for a while.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why does she have to go to Italy?
I don't know. Well, they did that in The Godfather. I mean, you know, Michael, he did what he did, and
he
then
had a hit on him, and they had to.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot more. That was a lot more hot, is what a gangster would say. This is a hot situation. You're hot right now. You're in the hot zone.
She hasn't done anything to deserve that. They're just trying to be misogynistic, basically. And she also has an unstable record because she's been in Arkham. But basically it comes out And she says it at the end, but I think we already really knew this. She and her brother, the one that the penguin killed, that she doesn't know, or maybe she suspects, you don't know. They were supposed to take over, and they were going to use the shipment, these diamonds and drugs. They're going to take over the whole organization. And the brother's gone, so now it's just her, and she's looked on as some weak female.
Yeah.
And
well, actually, what's going on as well, see, this is why I wanted to lead the review, is that she's trying to find the inside man.
Well, she's doing that, too.
And they end up hiring this corrupt detective who used to work for her father.
Who's addicted or something.
And he ends up finding this guy who supposedly might know some information. And he does. He knows that Oswald is in on the scam.
Right.
And so they're at this, what is it called? A wake or whatever?
Yeah.
They're at the wake for Alberto. Isn't that his name?
Actually, it was a memorial service.
Or memorial, whatever you call it. He's at the memorial, and he has to orchestrate this whole plan so that he can get to that guy and either take him out or tell him what to say so that Sophia won't know that he's in on it. And I really thought that the episode got a lot better in the second half when it was taking place at this memorial. I almost think that the whole episode could have taken place there. Like, I think that they could have started off at the memorial and then just kind of shown flashbacks in the episode or something, because the first half was kind of like a nothing burger.
I was going to say, I'm trying to remember what happened, and really nothing.
Well, the deal.
His mother.
And then him talking to Sal in prison. And then the one thing I did like was early in the episode, he's meeting Sal in prison again, and Sal is kind of trying to get used to the new attention that he has. And he meets the guy who they end up kidnapping later in the episode. You know, and it's just like, oh, that's just some random character, and then he shows up, and it's like, the only thing that I'll say about the second half of the episode is that the suspense of Sophia interrogating him was cut really short, because Oswald just so happens to be able to get down in the basement and deal with it before she can get down there. And I kind of felt like, again, you could have made the whole episode take place at the memorial, and you could have made that sequence a lot more suspenseful and kind of like extend that part a little bit. What do you think, Safi? Did you like that part, or what did you think?
It was pretty good, and it was quick, though. Very quick. Because
Victor screws up, too.
Yeah.
Victor was supposed to plant this evidence, this false evidence, to make it look like this other guy, Johnny Vitti, was responsible, and he fails. And so what I really liked was at the end, after the memorial, he takes Victor to the grave where he has to put these two bodies in of the people who got killed that day, and he's like, you know, look, when you're in the game like this, you can't afford to screw up, and you can't afford to make silly little mistakes like this, because this is what'll happen if you make a mistake. And so I really liked that part. That was probably my favorite part of the episode. What do you think, Safi?
I guess.
What?
It was...
What?
It was fine. I think you're right about the second part of the episode being the it part of the episode, but that means that the whole thing wasn't good. It was, I'll just say I gave it a B. But the thing, it's just every time, though, you doubt what's going on, or you wonder, well, where's this going to go?
It surprises you.
You look at this actor who's done all this to become all this preparation to become this character, and it's just amazing. It just amazes me. It blows me away.
What I think, and I don't think that
I haven't seen that in a while.
Well, as well, I think that something that makes a TV show good is that you have a main character who gets into situations that you don't know how they'll get out of it. Like, for instance, in Breaking Bad, they would do that every episode almost, of where, how is he going to get out of these situations? And he ends up getting out of them. And that's what really makes a good TV show, is that you put these characters into situations that you don't know what's going to happen. And, even though they'll probably survive, it's just kind of amazing to watch them get out of these situations every episode. And in this case, especially the Penguin, even though he's like an iconic Batman villain, there's no way they can kill him off in the season or anything, but
no way.
That's kind of like bad news, though, because all these other new characters who they've introduced, like Sophia, as I said earlier, they're expendable. Or also, like in Better Call Saul, unfortunately, they went the route where they would just kill all the original characters off, almost, except for their precious Kim. But, you knew in that show, Jimmy's not going to die, at least until the future part he could. But you knew that all the other characters will. Mike died, Gus died, you knew that Lalo would die, you knew that Howard could die, and Nacho, which I still don't know why they killed him off. Safi can't even answer me either on that one.
I don't know.
But,
I think I remember. When I was watching
it was a piece of shit.
I had an idea why.
It was a piece of
It just
shit.
had to be.
No, it didn't. That's a lie.
No, I don't.
That's something a dipshit writer would say.
I'm sorry.
This episode had to be bad.
No.
Because that's how things go.
No.
Fuck you!
Okay, Marco.
But
you don't need to talk like that.
In this show, it's the same thing. You have all these characters, they could all die. The Penguin's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Victor, they could all die.
I know.
And so, the episode ends with the Penguin getting close to Sophia, probably going to buy her a pizza and seduce her.
Oh,
Safi,
God.
how do you feel about that?
Gross.
What would you do in his situation?
But, that might be kind of more like the DC thing.
What kind of pizza would you buy for Sophia Falcone?
Probably the 3 meats pizza.
Oh, God.
I don't know what else. She's Italian.
You could say.
She's Italian. And
oh, God.
wouldn't that be Italian sausage, pepperoni, and gee, I don't know what.
But she strikes me as someone who likes olives.
Could be. I don't know.
Because she's weird.
Well, she is weird, and
olives and sausage and pepperoni.
maybe with everything on it.
No, she wouldn't eat that. I guarantee it.
I don't know, Marco.
What would the Penguin want? Because he got mad at the cilantro being on the tacos. What would Oswald Cobb want?
I don't know, but I don't blame. I hate cilantro. Ugh, God.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about it, but
They use a lot of it in Mexican food, and I just don't use it. I just take it out, or
well,
just don't use it.
I wonder if it's really good for you or something, because they put a lot of cilantro on the tacos that they showed on the show, and I was like, ew, that's almost like a salad. Like it's a salad on a taco.
No.
Fuck that.
Oh, no. Maybe that's, they're not Mexican. They're not, maybe that's like an Italian thing.
What?
To make the Mexican food more Italian.
Italian tacos?
Yeah, with cilantro
Oh,
on
my
them.
God.
A lot of it.
Oh.
I've just never, ew, God, the thought of that makes me want to irp.
Oh.
Ugh, gross.
Well,
I hate cilantro.
I don't know. I would give this episode, I'm gonna be nice. And I'm gonna give it a B. B.
I gave it a B too.
I'm sorry, I just can't give it a B plus. I know a B plus episode when I see it. I know an A minus, an A, and A plus. And this is a B episode because the first half was not as good. It was kind of slow, and it kind of felt like, the second half was where things were at.
And I'm thinking all along is where is this going to go?
Safi, you say that in a lot of
I can't help it. I just don't, because
That's like a reoccurring.
I've seen all the other Batman movies.
Well, if we were making merchandise and we were making shirts, there would be a shirt with you, and it would be you shrugging, and it says, "Where is it gonna go?" That's how cliche it is
be
now.
Looking at Penguin.
What would it be?
With a big magnifying glass and saying, "Where is he going with this?"
That would be pretty funny. What do you think my shirt would be? What would it be?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Why?
You would just have. You probably have maybe 3 of the DC characters. Batman.
No, you can't have copyrighted characters on a shirt. I mean,
you can't.
I mean, merchandise for Safi and Marco dish out on the movies. And I said it would be you shrugging, saying, "Where's it going to go?" And what would it be with me?
No.
Why? That doesn't make sense. I've literally never said no on this channel.
I don't know. You say the F word quite a bit.
Fuck!
Marco, don't do that. That's not going to help the channel. Say that. It really isn't. Don't do that.
Fucking subscribe.
Marco, don't do that. That's not right.
Fucking like.
All right, I told you.
Fucking comment.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything because
that would be a good shirt. Fucking subscribe, fucking like, and fucking comment.
You're never going to be monetized.
With me going like, "Hey,
no.
I'm like the Penguin."
You can't do that.
I mean, a lot of the times the Penguin, he's making this face like, "I'm the Penguin, and I'm mad about everything." You know, that's kind of, you think that's how he gets into his accent? It's like he's got to like shrivel up his face like and squeeze the parts together and be like, "I'm the Penguin."
Well, he's got this Jersey, New York accent. I don't know how he does it. I mean, it is really good.
He's good.
You have to ask
He's
somebody
really good.
from there how authentic it sounds, but I think it sounds really good.
There's this fucking retarded YouTuber who did a show where he was debating about whether or not Colin Farrell was a good actor.
Oh my God.
And he was saying, "What does he have? What movie does he have where he shows he's a good actor?" And it's like, oh my God. And what they ended up showing was Saving Mr. Banks, which Safi hasn't seen. But like every single movie that Colin Farrell has been in, for the most part, he's a fantastic actor. I mean, the Fright Night remake, you know, and I know that I'm biased because Chris Sarandon was a jackass, but like Colin Farrell in that movie was better than Chris Sarandon in the original. He created a much more interesting villain, a much scarier villain, and you know, he's a great actor.
He's unbelievable in this movie.
It's funny.
TV show.
It's funny because that same YouTube channel is now doing reviews of The Penguin and saying it's really good. And it's like, how can they even do that, honestly, without making like a 50-minute apology video saying, "I'm sorry, I should never have said Colin Farrell was not a good actor because I'm a fucking idiot." Right?
Anyway, I really would recommend, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing. But he's outstanding. And if you don't have the means, like you don't have the platform or whatever to watch it, at least on YouTube you might be able to see a trailer that would have him in, and you would see, at least from that, how good he is at this part, at least for a little bit of it. So that's it. So if you don't have anything else to say,
no.
I don't have anything else to say. They're just doing, so far they have, it's like normal. And I say that, I mean, it's just one episode a week.
Yeah, and it's so nice to review a TV show that way, even though now, let's see, I got Grotesquerie, The Old Man, this show, Hell's Kitchen, and isn't there another one? Am I forgetting one?
Probably.
So that's 4 or 5 shows a week. So that's like 4 or 5 episodes a week still.
But the Grotesquerie, now last week they did, and I got confused because of the Penguin. I thought the Penguin was 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But no, it was Grotesquerie.
Yeah.
And are they going to do 2 this week too? Or
no, thankfully no.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That would be like hell.
Yeah. That's where there's a lot of red herrings in that, and you have to pick out what's real and what isn't, what's right and what's wrong, and hard. A little bit hard. So anyway, you have to get to know it, and I don't know. I guess I struggle with this. Like I said, I've said a million times, I read a lot. I'm reading a mystery now, and I haven't listened to it a lot, but and there's usually I'm pretty good. I'd say at least, I don't know, 70% of the time I can figure out who the person is. I already have my idea. I could be wrong though.
Who your person
And
is?
the bad guy, the killer.
The killer?
Yeah. And,
What
there's
killer?
been a couple of these books,
What?
series like I'm reading
And the
right
penguin?
now. No!
What?
I'm not talking about grotesquerie.
What?
We've got
Who
a
cares
situation
if-
here. Nobody and
This is a
there's
penguin.
we'll talk about it when we talk about grotesquerie.
What the
but
hell?
Anyway, is it a good thing to really have it all figured out who the person is? You may not know all the why they're doing all the
Who is
murdering.
it? Who's the killer?
Oh, in grotesquerie? Oh, I don't have any. I suspect it could be the priest, but that seems like a red herring to me.
You just said you had it all figured
Well,
out.
I'm thinking about the books
Books?
series. I've read so many books there. So anyway,
Who cares?
what's better? It's not as crafted as it could be, so it's easily figure outable, or you've read a ton of these, and it's so well crafted that you can't figure it out until at the end when the bad person pops up and they're the killer and they threaten the main.
I don't know. I think it's a question to save for the video about the subject and not mention it in the Penguin review video.
Well, but see, that's the thing with this Penguin show. Despite the fact that he's outstanding,
But we know who the killer is, Safi.
oh well, yeah, he's the killer. But I mean, where is it all going to go?
Oh, you've
Where
asked.
are they? What are they moving towards?
You've
are we going to
asked
see
that now.
Batman in this?
If this was a courtroom, you would be thrown out for what do they call it? Whatever the fuck. So,
I don't know.
anyways,
So anyway, that's it. So I think we should end it. But so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Become one of our subscribers, and also if you've been watching this, what do you think about it? And do you have any idea where you think this is going? Do you think Batman will show up in this show? And if he does,
no, actually, he will not. They said they would not put Batman in the show because they were afraid that if he showed up even for 5 minutes, that he would steal the show.
Yeah, I think they're right.
That's a pretty idiotic thing to say, though, because it's like, that would have been cool, though, just to have, like, it's like you're having a meal and then you have, like, a surprise dessert at the end or something. Like, that could have been a cool highlight of the show.
Well, they could show him at the end, just make a flash appearance, like his shadow.
I don't know.
In the sun and the moonlight.
They could have done something. I mean, I think it's kind of a cop out to not include him in a Penguin show, but
maybe it has more to do with money.
no, it doesn't.
You sure? Okay, well that's it. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.